Hey guys, and welcome back to Making Finances Sexy. It is me, Rose Short, aka the Red Queen. Come down the rabbit hole with me. I'm a realtor here in the Phoenix Valley, as well as CEO of Kronika Luxury and a financial consultant. It is my mission to help you build multiple income streams, live that dream life, set yourself up for success, and just enjoy the life we have. And with me, of course, is the wonderful and talented Miss Jessica 𝐐𝐒.
What's up, guys? I'm your Rent Rave owned realtor and certified instructor with 101 Financial right here in the Valley of the Sun. It's my mission to help you transition from renting to home ownership, no matter your current financial situation. I'm here to be your personal finance coach and first-time home buyer specialist.
Yes! And today we're going to talk about how to have fun with your hobbies when on a budget.
Oh yeah, maintaining hobbies is super important for our personal well-beings, but it's challenging to balance them with our financial responsibilities.
Especially depending on what those hobbies are, right? So we have some very expensive hobbies. We do RC cars, we do mountain biking, we do road biking, we do dog sports. So it can get very pricey very fast if something on the bike breaks or something on the RC car breaks, vet bills and all that kind of stuff with the dogs. And then your hobbies are also kind of up there.
Yeah, I guess my most expensive would be bowling, but it's just kind of a more so a upfront costs for a bowling ball, shoes, the bag, things like that. But I also have like less or more cost effective hobbies. That's just going to the gym, hiking once my ankle's completely better. I miss hiking, and DIY projects now with my new home.
Nice. Less, which we already covered in a previous episode, how to do DIY on a budget. So if you missed that one, go back and watch it. Yeah. So how do you mitigate, these expensive hobbies and not breaking the bank? Well, there's a couple different ways. So a lot of the gurus out there will tell you, have self-control and deny yourself the thing until you're going. And they're not completely wrong, but that's a really negative way to look at it for a lot of people. So the way to look at it is, say I want this new bike frame because one of my things that we like to do is put the bikes together. Now, you can get a pretty cheap bike frame for like $200 and you can turn it into a really good bike. Or let's say, it's one that you really want and it's $1,500. There's a couple different ways to do it. Look at your budget, figure out where you have any excess money and start putting that toward that goal with that goal in mind, and then celebrate, the little achievements like we've talked about before. Or if you have the funds available, go ahead and purchase it, but then still look at your budget and go, okay, well, this money was in savings. What can I cut to rebuild that money into my savings?
Yeah, definitely doing some research. If you have a hobby in mind, doing some research ahead of time is really powerful, because then you can kind of estimate your costs into your plan.
Yeah.
Everyone should have their plan.
Agreed.
And then just allocate the funds accordingly. And then you can also set like a fixed amount each week if your hobby requires money, like each time you do it or whatever, like just allocating those funds directly just for your hobby.
For sure. Yeah. It's kind of like with the pets, right? Like, because you have pets as well. So the vet bills are going to be there whether or not you're doing dog sports or not. So allocating that money ahead of time of like, okay, well, I know that in 6 months I'm going to have to spend $800 on prescriptions. Like, let me start putting that aside now. Things like that can definitely become beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things with some of the hobbies right now too is, don't be afraid to look on like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, stuff like that, especially in the world of cycling. What happened a lot was when the pandemic hit, people were buying bikes because they didn't have anything else to do. So they were getting, road bikes, mountain bikes, whatever, and going out and cycling. And some of the bikes they were getting were really good bikes. And then when the pandemic was over, they stopped writing, and so now they're selling them. So you can get some pretty good. It won't be the, newest top of the line bike, but you can get some pretty new, barely used bikes that were, 3 to 4 grand in their day for half price or less. So don't be afraid to search those sites as well for whatever you're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Buying secondhand is great for those hobbies that are like biking, or I know people that surf and paddleboard and things like that. You don't need the top of the line brand new. I mean, maybe you do, but most times you can get a really decent board at a discount because somebody's trying to get rid of it.
Yep.
And joining clubs and communities is a big one. So bowling for us, we like to join a league. We're not professionals by any means, but joining the league saves us a lot because it includes like 2 free bowlings for the week. So we can go 2-3 times a week, which is awesome at like a super discounted rate, and
Nice.
just enjoy our hobbies more often than like having to pay per game every time.
Love it.
Yeah.
And hobbies are super important for work-life balance, for stress management, all that kind of stuff, right? Because if like I don't really get this, but I know that my significant other does. Like if you're just working nonstop and you're not like for me, I'm saving up for a big goal. So like I have the big end goal in my head. But for him, like if we don't spend the money on or some money at least on our hobbies and whatnot here and there, he gets really depressed and is like, well, why am I working so hard? So it's super important to figure out like what is that threshold for you, and like maybe it is weekly, maybe weekly you need to go out and do something with your hobby. Maybe it's just every month, like once a month you need to, take a weekend and go out. So really determine what that looks like for you, and that can help a lot as well.
Yep. And always review and adjust your hobby budget and priorities. Sometimes you enjoy doing one thing and then you see something else, or your friends and family are doing something else and you want to try another thing. Like it's okay to adjust and our interests change and things like that. It's good to branch out and try new things. Well, back to like the mindset of hobbies, it is a great way to clear your head. And I've noticed when I, throw bowling in throughout my week, it improves my productivity in a sense. Like you actually get a boost in your productivity. It provides that mental break to help you return to work or other responsibilities with a new focus and energy, especially like if because Kalani and I would go Wednesday nights, like smack dab in the middle of the week, and then the rest of the week felt a lot more ease and just happy, more happy.
I love it. Yeah, and it's super important as well to have mental hobbies as well as physical hobbies. Like I think too often when we think of hobbies, we think of, again, like RC cars or like something that takes like requirements to go out and do something. Like one of your hobbies could be as simple as doing a crossword every night, right? Like it's kind of cliche because like you kind of picture that in like the 1970s or 60s, like doing the crossword at the end of the day kind of thing. But just that mental stimulus that is not job related can really help reset. So, look at Sudoku is another good one. I like when I was backpacking, I loved doing Sudoku. Because it kept me distracted on the days when it was like, okay, well, I gotta wait for this train for 5 hours because I missed the other overnight train or whatever it was. And that's a great way to keep your brain active, but not be thinking about the stress of life. So don't discount or disregard mental hobbies as well.
Yeah, my roommate likes to do puzzles and just kind of occupy her brain, but not too much that like work mindset. And
Yeah.
there's like I love skill development and personal growth, like hobbies, reading books, just sometimes those parts of our lives, if we're super busy, just getting that little extra education is could be a hobby too.
Yeah, for sure. Another last thing I want to talk about too, because we see it all the time, is you start making more money, so you start spending more money. And that often happens when people are in overtime, like seasonal overtime for their job, whatever it is. Suddenly they've got extra funds and then they start splurging on things. And then you very quickly not only blow your extras budget, but you blow your regular budget as well. So it's super, super important as you start earning more to still really critically look at that budget. Maybe that means you allocate more to your hobby fund, but also allocate more to your savings or your retirement or your stock fund or whatever it may be. Don't fall into the trap of, well, now that I make more money, I can up my lifestyle. Like if that's, your end game, that's awesome. But that's how a lot of like the new rich become not rich anymore, is they get a flood of money and then they start buying all the things that they think rich people buy to look like they're doing better than they are, and then they blow all their money. So, even if you get a raise at work and you're bringing home, let's say, an extra, $200 a week, or let's say you started affiliate marketing, all of a sudden affiliate marketing is bringing in, $2,000 a month, whatever it looks like. Don't just start, celebrating right away. Still be really smart with it. Still budget. Even it's gonna sound crazy, but even some of the richest people we know, they do budget. So don't discount the power of it.
For sure. And sharing costs with friends or family, if it's a great way to spend time together. If you share a hobby and can split costs of either the items or whatever it is you're doing, memberships and all that good stuff.
Yep. Other Facebook groups could be really good too. Like I got added to a RC car Facebook group, which most of it was just like, oh, we're going crawling at this point if anyone wants to join. But sometimes you can get access to parts and whatnot that way too. Or, via networking, especially if it's like a, group ride cycling page, or you find a local bike shop that does group rides. A lot of times that way you can talk with people and they might have the parts you need and be willing to either exchange them or sell them for a cheaper price. So those are all great ways to get your hands on what you're looking for without breaking the bank.
Oh yeah, go get your hobbies.
Yes. So yes, that is all I have, guys. Hobbies are super important. You gotta take breaks. You gotta, enjoy the life that you're living while you're building your dream life. And then even once you're getting closer to your dream life, still be really smart about it. But take those breaks, enjoy it. And then next week, we're gonna talk about just exactly how do you build your financial blueprint with Miss Jessica.